Wife turns into a teenage fangirl whenever she becomes obsessed with someone new, and I'm just here trying to keep up. My wife behaves like a teenage girl and I don't know whether to laugh or cry. This is just a rant. Curious to know how many full-grown adults behave the way my wife does. I'd say out of all of the adult women I know, like friends, relatives, wives of my friends, none of them behave this way unless they keep it a closely guarded secret. Editing right here to add that my wife is in her 30s, for context. My wife is always obsessed with somebody, a man or sometimes multiple men at one time. Usually there is one or two main focuses at a time. When I talk obsessed I mean obsessed like a teenage girl or maybe even preteen girl would be. I've seen pictures of her bedroom when she was that age and they were literally wallpapers and posters of her favorite guys. That's totally normal for a 13-year-old girl. She still behaves that way as a woman in her 30s. Granted, our bedroom walls aren't wallpapered in posters but they probably would be if I allowed it. Her obsessions have ranged from rock stars, actors, non-entertainment industry public figures. It's like one day she hasn't even heard of the guy in question and the next day she's super fan number one and knows just about everything there is to know about him. She will read and watch everything there is to watch about the man. She will bring him up in every conversation. She will adopt parts of him into her own personality. She will suggest things that make it clear to me that she wants me to adopt characteristics of these men as part of my appearance or personality. She will openly admit to me that she's masturbated over the guy multiple times in one day. When she finds a new man to obsess over, she puts the others in her little stable of men who she always has a place for in her heart and in her fantasies, so they never really go away. The new man just takes center stage and becomes the main focus of almost her entire life. So the current obsession is so strange to me. Never saw this one coming, but leave it to her to always find somebody new to fall in love with. The intensity that she is during these periods, it's honestly like she falls in love with these men. I'm laughing so hard just typing this all. Her current obsession is Bret Hart, former pro wrestler. This woman had never watched wrestling before in her life. Always thought that stuff was below her. And now she's obsessed with this former pro wrestler. She watched one show about him, for reasons I'm not aware of, and I could tell almost instantly where it was headed. I thought here we go. So now the Bret Hart obsession is in full swing. Has she already dropped close to $1,000 in vintage Bret Hart shirts on eBay? Of course. Bought all the stickers and magnets and all sorts of other stupid crap she can find? Yep. Does she send me Bret Hart YouTube clips all day long when she's supposed to be working? Yes she does. So, I better get to work brushing up on my Bret Hart knowledge and taglines. This is the key to getting laid when it comes to her. I'm used to this by now. It's just not something that I can easily explain to anyone I know. I mean, there's are things I'm a fan of, but she is next level. I can't think of anyone I know who is her age and acts like this. She was voted most likely to grow up and become a groupie when she was in high school, so this is absolutely nothing new for her. Sigh. Many are lighthearted in the comments. I mean, he's the best there is, was and ever will be, so that one makes sense at least. Limerence is mentioned. Yeah, my bouts of limerence have been with people I've dated, but reading that made me realize that I was very much being obsessive and it was totally all consuming. Glad it's over honestly. Those feelings are exhausting. Oop reveals more of the life he's signed up for in the comments. You've pretended to act like other men for 20 years? Damn dude, I hope you're finding ways to accept it and cope. That sounds rough, having to be someone else to have sex. Stay strong king, but what do you guys actually share, together /? That's not related to the obsession of the season? I'm not going to even bother asking if she's tried to learn about any of your hobbies / interests. NGL, this is all pretty grim to me, my man, and I'm someone who loves having a partner who is passionate about things and nerds out. I fear that you've spent so long with her infatuation steamrolling over your own interests and preferences that you have convinced yourself that getting attention by proxy as your main source of validation from your spouse is a healthy way to live. If I told you that I was big into anime and Japanese RPGs and the only way I get interested in doing it with my actual wife is if she adopts the catchphrases / personality characteristics of my latest waifu, would you feel some concern for my wife's mental health? I'm also wondering about this spending. Not included here, but in several comments, Oop definitely brings up his wife's looks as a positive in the relationship and he finds her antics at times amusing or even attractive. Update 2: I recently wrote about my wife suddenly discovering former pro wrestler Bret the Hitman Hart one day after never even knowing of his existence, experienced love at first sight, and is now even deeper than love with him than she was a month ago. Tonight, I experienced a good hour of her sobbing, literal sobs, after watching the Bret Hart A&E biography. I just love him so much. I love him with all my heart. I don't want any more bad things to happen to him. Also, I'm very jealous he's not my husband. She also went from not wanting any kids to suddenly wanting a baby so she can name it Bret, a girl or a boy, doesn't matter, they will be named Bret. And she almost had me convinced, but I blame that on the heat of the moment. She's bought all sorts of clothes just like his. My wife now dresses like Bret Hart in and outside of the ring. The past few days she's been acting really annoyed with me. Finally I'm like, WTF, am I doing wrong? I bought you Bret Hart stuff for your birthday. I call you Mrs. Bret Hart now, even though you're my wife. I even sent you flowers at work from Bret. I mean, that was supposed to get me points because she knew they were for me and I was playing into her obsession, which she's now apparently shared with everyone she works with. They bought her a giant Bret Hart wall decal for her office. Okay, so I did forget our anniversary, which was very recently. Totally forgot it. Then again, so did she. She was too busy masturbating over Bret Hart to remember our wedding anniversary. I mean, bad husband points for me obviously, but all the birthday gifts had to have made up for it. I mean, I even ordered a Bret Hart birthday banner and got her a Bret Hart themed birthday cake as if she were a 7-year-old boy in the year 1994. So why is she acting so annoyed lately? Why does she act like she hates me and can't stand to even be in the same room as me? She finally admits, I'm not Bret Hart. None of her obsession have ever been this bad. She's seriously threatening me with divorce now because I'm not Bret Hart. She just wants a guy like that. She had to go walk the dog today and cry over it, how much she hates me and wishes she was married to Bret Hart. Oh fuck me, you want a guy like your dad because that's what Bret Hart is like, exactly like her dad, the same look, the same hair, the same damn age. I told her I think she should get checked out for autism or some other sort of disorder. Her obsessions have never been this bad. She should make an appointment now because the wait list is long. She just laughed. There's nothing wrong with her. She just has different taste in men now, according to her. Some comments therapist here, she needs to see a psychiatrist. This is mental illness to the extreme. Either she goes, or you leave. This is ultimatum terrace, a Tory. And, stop giving into her obsession. It makes it worse. Man, when she threatens divorce, take it. Jump at the chance. Hell, sit, be a good boy and offer your fucking paw if that's what it takes to get treated to an exit strategy. Don't worry about dignity, sounds like you gave that up a long time ago. I'm surprised he even lasted this long. Calling her Ms. Bret Hart, I can't even fathom. Update 3 Hi, you might remember me as the guy whose wife was obsessed with JFK, 35th President of the United States, then experienced a whirlwind romance with former WWF pro wrestler Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, but now she's met a new man. I thought the Bret Hart obsession was the worst one yet. Never has she threatened divorce or told me she hated me because I wasn't the object of her desire. Luckily, that was a relatively quick love affair for her. 3 to 4 months is a short run for her and one of her men. But I should be careful what I wish for. This new one is the first time I've felt that I should maybe, just possibly, feel legitimately scared. Her newly developing obsession is Patrick Bateman. Yep, the character from American Psycho. Specifically, the movie version played by Christian Bale. It's not like she's just met the guy. She's seen the movie before, but it doesn't appear that they hit it off initially. Now, she's suddenly started making constant reference to him. Bret is gone and now it's just Patrick Bateman and maniacal laughter and purchasing all of the items in his skincare routine. I'd like to see her do 1,000 crunches though. That'll be the day. She has always admitted to living the 80s preppy/yuppie look. She loves assholes. Assholes are a weakness for her. Psychopaths? That's a new one, unless you count the time she was in love with the Menendez brothers years ago. God, the pastel Ralph Lauren sweaters she used to try to make me wear. Pastels are just not my shades. Now, there was a time many years ago where I did have to hide all the knives in our home. I was legitimately scared that she was going to murder me. I forget what she was upset about now. I am, after all, her type, an asshole. I did something that bothered her and she ran for the knives. I had to hide them and then lock myself in a bedroom because she was literally chasing me. That was before she decided that she'd be the female Patrick Bateman. Granted, she says only mean in the looks and snob department, nothing else. She's trying to determine what the female equivalent to a Patrick Bateman hairstyle would be right now. I'm just worried about the bank account with this obsession. The amount she'll spend on business cards alone. Comments your wife is severely mentally ill and needs help quickly. Is there no chance of persuading her to get help? If not, what preparations have you made to leave her? I probably shouldn't be laughing as hard as I am right now. This is truly bizarre. Does she narrate her morning routine in the mirror each day now? But in all seriousness, she's chased you with a knife? That's far more concerning than any of the obsessions with these men, and yes, I did read the post about the wrestler. I thought it was just very quirky behavior before, but she seems truly unhinged now.